What's going on, guys? Omar Alfaro, your real estate investor, real estate entrepreneur, and a real estate professional. I've been in this business for 19 years, sold over 1,700 properties, helped sellers get the most money possible, helped buyers obtain home ownership, and in turn, understood and became a real estate investor as well. I'm in the business, so I might as well learn how to invest in real estate if I'm selling it. So follow along with me. We're gonna be at 3 different properties today. Today we're at this one, and I'm going to explain to you in a little bit how I purchased this one, so then in turn you're going to understand how you also can purchase properties just like this. So stay tuned, guys. I hope all this content helps you get to a better position in your life in real estate investing. What's happening, guys? So just like I mentioned to you earlier, we're gonna go to 3 different properties, explain to you how I purchased these investment properties, and hopefully you're gonna be able to do the same. So now we're here at the first investment that we're gonna talk about. I bought this property subject to existing mortgage. So I did use creative financing to provide the solution to the seller. So I received this listing, or I wouldn't say listing, I received this appointment from a wholesaler/agent that didn't know what kind of solutions to bring to the table for this particular seller because it was intricate. The seller had a back payment or payments that were due about 40 grand or something like that to bring his loan current. So he was already in default, okay? He had no more cash. The house wasn't super nice. It needed a lot of work. He actually he started rehabbing it himself, but he just couldn't finish it. He ran out of money. You know, his relationship kind of went south with his partner, and that tends to happen in a lot of relationships. I'm not a relationship expert by all means, but in this case, I do understand what kind of solution I need to bring for him to start his next chapter. So we sat at that table over there. You don't see it anymore because we rehabbed it and it looks all cool. But we sat down, we talked about the numbers, we figured out a way that I was able to give him upfront money to provide the solution immediately and later on be able to close the transaction. So the way it worked is I had to call the mortgage company and pay off his $44,000 in back payments, okay, to bring his loan current. He wanted a specific number for this property, and I wasn't truly comfortable at that number, but we came to an agreement to where if he wanted a certain number, I said, no problem, as long as the terms make sense for me and you agree to my terms on how I want to purchase it. So he said, yes, let's do it. I was able to help him immediately, gave him like, I think 5K, 10K, something like that, to help him kickstart his new chapter, right? In moving to another property or whatever the case is, whatever his next chapter really is. So I figured out a way to do that. And then with negotiating, we figured out a way that I was going to be able to give him money once we closed escrow. So once we closed escrow, so I'm going to rewind a little bit more though. So we closed escrow subject to the existing mortgage. I brought in X amount of dollars. I think it was $20,000 initially. And then I ended up paying off the arrears, which was $42,000. So it's really like $60K out of my pocket to purchase this property. Remember, I didn't pay off the first loan. All I did was take over that payment, and the payment's about $1,500. Okay, so this property is now going to be worth a good $600K. At the time, I had it pegged at about $550, and it was still a decent deal. Okay, so long story short is we provided a solution for this seller. I bought the property subject to existing mortgage. I gave him upfront money to help him start his chapter, his next chapter. And I made one more thing, that when this house sells, I'd be able to give him a little bit extra. So I helped the seller out initially. And when the house does sell, I'm giving him a small percentage or just a little bonus when the house does sell and I realize my profit. Okay, so I'll be all in this property about, I'd say 100,000-ish maybe 105K or so. And I potentially am going to be receiving about $120,000 or $130,000 in profit. So that means I received all of my money back plus an additional $100,000, $130,000 that I can make by being creative, by understanding people's situations and bringing creative financing to the table that helps the seller out. So it's a win-win situation, and that's how I purchased this property. We're here at investment number 2. You guys saw investment number 1 earlier on how I purchased that one. Now we're at number 2, and I'm going to explain to you how I purchased this one. Well, being in the industry for a while, everyone does know that I buy a lot of houses. We either fix them up, we flip them, we keep them as rentals, whatever the case. So somebody reached out to me, which was another wholesaler. So this is another avenue for you guys to, if you guys are barely getting started in the investment world or investing in real estate, this is one avenue that you want to go and create a relationship with, which is other wholesalers that have contracts from sellers that, you know, are distressed or whatever the case, and they want to get rid of the contract. So the wholesaler's not buying the property, the wholesaler's finding someone like me to buy the property from them for a fee, and then I can create whatever I create out of this property. So this is how I purchased this one. I believe the assignment fee for this property that the wholesaler made was, I want to say it was like $7,000 or $8,000 he made when I purchased this property. I bought this house for $206,000, I believe, my cost. Out of that number, he already got paid. So I bought the property. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's probably worth right now, I would say $320,000, $325,000. So I made a decent investment. Okay, it needed a lot of work. So this is why you see behind me, there was a wall here. I ripped it all out. And we're going to make it into a nice kitchen. But the reason I want to share with you on how I bought this property is from a relationship that I created with another wholesaler, letting them know that, hey, I buy properties in this particular area. This is your buy box, you know, whether it's the high desert, Inland Empire, LA, doesn't matter. So I specifically said I want all the properties here in my local area because I know it. And I know what it can rent for, and I know what I can flip them for if I choose to. So I bought the property, we're fixing it up, we're almost done, and now it's going to be my decision if I'm going to either keep this property as a rental, which I probably will do, or flip it because the flipping profit is so substantial based upon what I bought it for. $206,000 I bought it for. I'm in this property maybe $30,000 to fix up, and that's a maybe. I put all new windows in, everything looks good. So I'll be in this property less than $240,000. And if I'm able to sell it for $320,000 or $325,000, that potentially could leave me an $85,000 profit that I could sell this asset, make that much money. But at the same time, I don't want to pay a bunch of taxes. So I may just keep this property, rent it out, and create an awesome cash flow of $700 to $800 per month, because rents right now here in this area, I can probably get $1,800 a month for this 3-bedroom, 2-bath, close to the main highway, which is really, really cool, which is close to shopping and everything else, when my payment is only $1,000. So $1,800 minus $1,000, I make $800 a month in positive cash flow. That can pay for all the nice things that I can go buy, pays for my truck, pays for everything else, pays for the boat, pays for the luxuries that most of you want to go buy, but you have to have assets that pay them off. That makes sense? Awesome. This is number 2. So stay tuned for number 3, coming soon. What's going on, guys? So we're here at investment number 3. You guys saw earlier how I purchased 1 and 2, and now we're here at number 3, and I'm going to explain to you how I bought this one. So these sellers saw an online ad that told them that they were going to get a cash offer in 60 minutes. They clicked the link, they filled out their information, and I got the notification. I called them, came over, and I expressed to them, or I showed them their different solutions for their current situation. This house was completely thrashed. And I'll tell you that again, this house was completely thrashed. And what happened was I sat down with them in a small area because you couldn't even move. Actually, it was on the counter, this area right here. And we went over the different scenarios. They owed a certain amount of money. They wanted to make a certain amount. Obviously, all these sellers that are out there do want to make a lot of money on their property just because they've been emotionally attached to their home. Now, I had to bring them down from Disneyland or Fantasyland. I had to bring them down to reality and let them know that, hey, this property needs a ton of work, and I don't even know how you're living like this. So, sorry, I will say that because we were here in it and everything else. They needed to start their chapter like it was yesterday. So they wanted to start their new chapter. They just got together, and they wanted something that they can call their home together. So we figured something out, and at the time I bought it for, I think it was $250,000. Okay, great area here in Hesperia, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but there was a potential to add a 3rd bedroom. So now I could have been a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Well, needless to say, I started doing the rehab after I finished closing the transaction. They gave me a great 5-star review for providing the solution for them and to help them start their next chapter. Well, I start ripping everything out, and lo and behold, you guys probably saw that last video of unwanted critters in this house. And this is the house that had, past tense, a lot of termites. So we ripped everything out. And you know what, guys? In the investment world of real estate, you never know what you're going to get because you can't see through a wall. So we had to rip everything out, look at it, and we kept ripping more out because there was more damaged wood. So we kept ripping more and more and more. Now, I'm definitely over budget on this property, and I'm probably going to end up keeping it because it has to sustain itself, even though the market on this property, after I'm done with it at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, completely remodeled, new kitchen and everything else, is probably going to be somewhere in that $350,000, $360,000, in this area, which is still a great return, but I'm so much not negative, but I'm more than I wanted to spend initially in this property. But just to let you guys know, I still provided that solution for this property or for these homeowners, and they started their next chapter. So all in all, you saw number 1, you saw number 2, and the third one is this was an online ad, but at the end of it, all 3 of them, I had to provide solutions for the seller, for the contract holder, and the other seller that I bought the property subject to. So because of all of that, we do have the ability to allow you guys to participate in some of our projects. Okay, we have a lot of them. Right now, currently we have 9 projects going, and we have, I think, 5 or 6 that are in escrow to buy. And you know what? This is the time to do it. We're providing a lot more solutions for everybody out there. And if you guys want more information on how to buy your next investment property, how to buy creatively, through creative finance, and partner up with us on, some of these deals, make sure you click that link that says subscribe on YouTube, and we will help you and give you more content about how we buy properties in our local area. So guys, thank you for joining, and I hope this helps a little bit so you're able to take this information and also be able to apply it in your area to buy your next investment property. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one.